Hello, my beautiful mystic hearts, and welcome to today's love reading. Okay, so as promised, what we're going to be doing today is specific to the divine masculine. So we will not be really going into or tapping into the divine feminine energy very much at all today. It will depend on the cards, but really this will be focused on divine masculine specifically. So we did the divine feminine yesterday, and today, as I said, we'll be specifically focused on the divine masculine journey. So I'm getting such a heavy feeling as I'm sitting down to do this message today. I have to say, I really am feeling a very stuck, very heavy energy as I'm doing this. So it will be interesting to see what actually comes through on these cards. But I'm also very much seeing my Five of Cups energy. So if you are a divine masculine that is tuned in to watch this reading, I would imagine you're probably really going through it quite a bit. I'm also getting the sense that when it comes to your divine feminine, when you look back at those times that you had together with your divine feminine, I don't think that anybody understood you like the divine feminine did. And I just think you feel like you're absolutely just kicking yourself at the moment over what's actually happened here. So let's get into this. Like I said, I'm feeling very heavy energy. So let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to go straight into the picture cards here. So I'm just going to see divine masculine as my incense is falling over there. I'm just going to see just what is around you at the moment, specifically. Oh gosh, look, straight away I've already got cards falling out of me, and it was message. So I definitely think this divine feminine is on your mind a lot. I won't take this. I actually want to actually shuffle these cards properly. But let's see. I just want to get your overall ruling energy just to see where you're at with everything at the moment. Just to see what's going on with you, and then we'll actually truly break this down into your journey and what's happening. Egg on the face, that really wants, oh no, it's not egg on the face, it's avoidance. I'm actually going to take this card. It really wanted to come out. So just confirming as well that we are definitely tapping into the divine masculine here. So the person within the connection is wearing that avoidance veil. So just a reminder as well that this is not a gendered reading. But this is focused on whoever in the connection is wearing that avoidant veil, that in that divine masculine journey. Within a divine dynamic, if you do identify with a divine counterpart reading, there will always be a masculine and a feminine energy. It does not matter which vessel you're actually in, though. So you could be either identified with a male or a female vessel, or neither, really, to be honest. It's completely not gendered. But there will, within this particular connection, within these energies, there will always be a masculine and a feminine. So either you're going to be identifying as a runner or as a chaser. Potentially sometimes, depending on where you are in your journey, if you're really far along, if you're really starting to balance out your yin and your yang, sometimes you can actually start to identify with both, but this will be specifically, for fear of keep repeating myself, as I said, specifically the divine masculine energy that we're dealing with here. And just to confirm here, we've got avoidance. All right, so we'll just keep going here. Divine masculine, just to get your energy into these cards here. I'm just going to split the deck, and I'm just going to get your overall ruling energy with this. I would say too, I've just got a message as well that there might, for divine masculine, might actually be a bit of tough love in this message as well. I don't feel like this is going to be a bit of a fluffy, I'm definitely not feeling a fluffy kind of an energy. Very different to the divine feminine energy that I tapped into yesterday. So as I said, this could be a little bit of a tougher reading. It could be a bit of tough love spoken about here. So let's get into it. Okay, so what's around you at the moment? What is going on with you? Let's go. I had a feeling this card was going to come out, Divine Masculine, and there's a reason why I was just told this might be a bit of a tough love energy. You've been snooping with your Divine Feminine. You're stalking your Divine Feminine's social media, I have a feeling. And I think you found out something, whatever you've been looking at online, I just get this distinct feeling it's online. You've been having a look, you've been tapping into her energy. You could also have been energetically chasing this Divine Feminine as well. So definitely, psychically, you could also be stalking her. You could also be getting tarot readings as well, like not just this one. Obviously, this is a tarot reading. But I think this feminine at the moment is absolutely consuming you at the moment. And I don't think you know entirely how to manage this, to be honest. Whatever it is, though, that you've been seeing, I think you've got serious envy here. I think there's envy for a few different reasons. I think firstly is I think you can see your feminine out and about. I think whatever you've had a look at, somehow you've got access to this Divine Feminine's socials. Goodness me, I hope that you're not on burner accounts or fake accounts doing something along those lines. Although I feel that potentially that is exactly what's happening here. Maybe you might have also just tried to contact this feminine via other means, like masking your number or something along those lines. Whatever it is, though, Divine Masculine here, there's a lot of envy here. That this is created. Potentially this is why you're in such stuck energy at the moment. I think you can see your feminine out and about, actually having a pretty good time, if I'm honest. I think that you can see your Divine Feminine really upgrading, really flourishing in life, and I think that is really put you in a bit of a jealousy mood, I would have to say. I don't necessarily feel spiteful or hating, but I definitely feel that envy energy for sure. And also, like I said, when I sat down, just really that kicking yourself, like, what have I done here? Is what I'm feeling, but I definitely think you're snooping for sure. And I would say, masculine, why are you snooping? Like, honestly, like you're the avoidant here. Why are you snooping? It's actually very much quite wounded feminine energy, I will say. If you are actually in the background stalking, snooping, not coming forward, not actually having that strength to actually step forward. I'm just seeing these cat eyes here too. Cats might also be really relevant to this collective. Maybe you own a cat as well. Maybe you and your Divine Feminine actually owned a cat together. But I'm just seeing these eyes here, just in the background there, Divine Masculine. I understand that it's a layer that you need to get through. It's part of that avoidant veil. You prefer to sit in the background and stalk than actually come forward and own your truths. All right, so overall energy. Okay, so let's get your top row here. My throat's also becoming quite sore as well. So that's all to do with, the throat chakra, inability to speak up, to speak your mind, a bit of a sore throat here. There we go. Avoidance, hurting, crying, depressed. That's very much that Five of Cups card that I was seeing. There's that envy cards popped out again. Oh my goodness, masculine, what are you doing? We've then got stalking, hanging up, unknown number. I wondered if that card was going to come out. So you have actually been Potentially you have actually tried to mask your number going through to this divine feminine, some sort of a burner account. And snooping. So it's come out again. So this is definitely divine masculine. All right. So you have, so there's the unknown caller and the snooping cards come straight up beside it. So you have, I don't think that you've come through to this feminine because you're still in avoidance at the moment. You are sitting really in deep sorrow and regret at the moment over this connection. All these cards are about to fall off the table too, which means you're probably going through a bit of a tower moment, I'll be honest. But you really are. So you're still hiding. So you're feeling very, very guilty over what's happened here. And I have a feeling this is actually what is really stopping you from stepping forward, is the guilt that you feel over how this connection ended. I'm just feeling very, very much about feeling guilty. So you're hurting as well. So I think there actually have been some very, very sleepless nights here. I'm also seeing as well, I will be honest with you, that I'm very much seeing the the 8 of Swords card here, which is very much a prison of your own making. The 9 of Swords. Oh, sorry, I think saying 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords is actually to do with, real mind ache, real sleepless nights, especially in the tarot. If you're aware of tarot, you'll know that. But I'm also seeing the 8 of Swords as well. That it's very much. I mean, you've got your blindfold on. You are in a lot of sorrow, but it's completely. I'm going to say this. It's self-inflicted. It really is. Is because you can step out of your swords, out of your 8 of Swords at any time. But you're hurting, sorrow, depressed, painful. I mean, understandable. And like I said, you've definitely been stooping here. I think you do have a way of accessing this divine feminine's socials somehow. Either that, or through a friend. I'm hearing as well that you might have mutual friends, and you've been getting some downloads from friends onto what's happening with your divine feminine, sort of where I'm going to say where she is at the moment and what's going on there. I will say though, divine masculine, this is really not great behavior. Like if you feel terrible about what's happened here, it means, and that you've got guilt, it means that you've caused a lot of damage here. And it means that you are going to have to face into the damage that's been done here and step up, face into it, have the courage to actually step up, face into it, and come through with an apology. I'm just hearing the word apology. You can't keep avoiding it. The conversation has to happen. You have to step into your divine masculine journey and have that conversation, regardless of what the outcome's going to be. If you were truly, truly in your divine masculine energy, and if you truly, truly wanted your feminine and you wanted to put things right with your feminine, then nothing would be stopping you. Like literally nothing would stop and would be in your way, regardless of whatever the outcome is, because you would want to clear this. Like this is karmic debt here that we're talking about. Whatever's happened here, I'm just getting the sense that you really... I think you were quite cruel to this divine feminine. A lot of it's going to come out further in the cards, but there's karmic energy that has to be cleared here. Like you have to clean this slate, and the longer you hold off, the longer you're in avoidance, the longer you don't clear the slate, regardless of what the outcome is going to be, you will just call in more negative karma into your life, which is what I think is happening now. I think probably since you are separated with this feminine, probably you have felt like you were a little bit cursed, I'll be honest, because it's your divine feminine. It's really, I'm just hearing your team tell me it's time to step up. Like it is. Like I knew this was going to be a tough love reading, but it's time to step up. All right, let's keep going. So we've got avoidance. And honestly, this behavior here, and especially if you're divine feminine, I can tell you now, you don't get a lot past divine feminines, I'll be honest. So if you are stalking and snooping on a divine feminine socials, that divine feminine is probably going to have an idea of exactly what's going on. And I can tell you it's probably not going to be that great of a of a reaction from the divine feminine if you're stalking and just sitting in the background watching. And also too, if you've got envy, this is causing envy in you. And I mean, whether you know it or not, you know, that energy actually goes through the cords. It goes through your connection back to the feminine. That really negative energy, whether you know it or not, when you're actually sitting there and you're actually stalking and looking in, and that's actually quite negative energy, and it goes straight through those cords back to the feminine. Oh gosh, I don't know if you just heard that cockatoo screeching in the background there, but just to, if that did come through on the microphone, but just to confirm. All right, let's keep going here. There we go. There's that cockatoo. That is really confirming. All right, so we've got avoidance. All right, I'll take both of these. All right, so we've got toxic love. I'll just move these up so all these come through on the camera. We've got toxic love. So drama, addictions, love, hate, relationship. Well, this is obviously clearly the ending and the relationship that you had with your feminine, but we're talking about hurting and then unemployed, so broke, fired, living beyond means. Okay, let's deal with this one first. We've got the toxic love. I think that you know, or I feel that you know, that there was a lot of drama here when you and your feminine were together, when you were actually first brought into alignment. I think it's been some time since you and your divine feminine have been in alignment, when you were actually first brought together. And I think that it was a very dramatic union when you guys were there. Very short-lived, but very dramatic union is what I'm hearing. I think there was a serious push-pull, a dynamic here. I think that you were both of you were very two broken birds when you met each other. I think you were both very, very broken. I'm seeing my broken mirror card. I think your divine feminine, though, or the divine feminine, just really mirrored back to you. Probably the very first time any relationship had done this, but actually really mirrored back to you how toxic you can be in love. And I think this is what keeps playing over and over in your mind. I really think you are, however this ended, divine masculine, this was not a great ending. This really wasn't. I think that I'm hearing the word ghosted. I think that you left this feminine in a very, and really not a great state. And I think you know that. I think there was a lot of heartache that was caused here. And this is what you're avoiding. This is why you're in no communication. This is why you are having such a difficult time about stepping forward. It's just purely the guilt that you feel over this. I will say too that everything has to happen for a reason. I am being really tough here, but everything has to happen for a reason. There will have been a very good reason why this happened the way it did. And it was for the healing for not only yourself, but it was also for the feminine as well. So I do want to say that. I know I've been really tough on you here. Not necessarily for the way in which you guys separated. I'm being tough on you specifically about your behavior right now. That's actually what I'm being pretty tough on you about. But the way that you guys separated, yeah, it was painful on both sides, on both sides here. I think that you felt very much, I'm going to say very much a victim. I think that you really blamed your feminine here a lot. for what happens. But I think on reflection, now that you've stepped back from it, now that I want to say you've actually have started your healing journey. I think you are awakened to the journey. I don't think that you would be listening to this reading if you weren't awakened to the journey. But yeah, I think that this is really it plays over in your mind a lot, really a lot, which means that you do have karmic debt here to clear. You have an apology to make. You do, and you know it. So you're hurting. So underneath all of this is unemployed, so broke, fired, living beyond your means. You might actually be going through a pretty tough time at the moment, a tower moment. I think I said that just before as those cards were about to fall off the desk. I don't necessarily know if you're unemployed, although you could potentially be going through unemployed. You could be going through a very, very difficult time in your life right now. I'm going to get the tarot and break this down a bit further. But if this is going on with you, this will also be adding to the depression and the feeling, that sadness that's around you at the moment. And it will also be then pushing you into really looking at your avoidant tendencies, which is also what you're doing with this feminine right now, right? I hope you realize that this is all part of your journey, is your avoidance, right? Because it wouldn't just be in this connection that you avoid things either. It would be in all aspects of your life. It would be work related. It would be with family, with friends. It would not just be this connection that you've been avoiding, although this connection is probably as I said, the very first time in all of your connections that this has really been highlighted, is your toxic tendencies, and avoidance being one of them. But I think it's really being very much highlighted here. All right, so we've got envy. I just was hearing as well that you could potentially also be living beyond means as well, which then will come back to the whole avoidance thing with you, the whole avoidance tendency is, instead of actually looking at very, very much at your means, of what's available to you, you just prefer to, I'm hearing this, I'm going to say it, but you prefer to live a high life than actually deal with the reality that's in front of you. You prefer to avoid the reality of what's going on than actually deal with truly what's going on in front of you with the means that you have in front of you. That will really resonate for whoever this reading's for. But with toxic love, I also think that addictions, I'm hearing addictions as well. I think this is part of your shadow that you're also facing into. Masculine is addictions. I'm hearing gambling straight away, but this really could have been a lot of things. This could have been substances. It could have been alcohol, something along those lines. But that's also part of your avoidant tendencies, right? That's also part of your avoidant veil. Is that in order to avoid what's going on, in order to avoid drama, in order to avoid, I'm hearing family situations. I think family situations for you really play a big part with you. But just to numb all of that out, you turn to substances or gambling, into that quick fix. It's an escape. You look to escape things, which is true avoidance. True avoidance is just to escape reality, escape what's going on around you. But I'm hearing as well that this is part of this shadow that you're healing out. I think you are, for the very first time, actually understanding this. Oh, okay. What's that card? We've actually got a couple here. I won't take these, but these actually I will take these. I will. So fighting and cold shoulder. So we've got trust issues here, fighting, breakup, separation. The fact that we've got fighting and then coming up under envy. I think this is you just reflecting. I think this is you looking back at what happened here with this divine feminine, with that envy that you're feeling when you're seeing your divine feminine moving on in life, when, you know, I can very much see your divine feminine as stepping into some really beautiful things in life, which I think you now have knowledge of. And I think you look back at how you guys separated the relationship that you had, you know, and I think you are fully understanding that there really was one-sided, detached. I think that you do look back at everything your divine feminine did for you, and I think you really I just feel regret. I just keep hearing that word over and over again. And of course we've got shoulder, so break up, distance, separation. The fact this is coming up under unknown caller though, doesn't surprise me, because you know there is separation here. I think that you feel that this is really the only way that you can still have any kind of contact with your divine feminine at all is through this kind of behavior, the unknown caller and snooping. I'm actually hearing that I think you desperately do want a connection with your divine feminine. I think you do. I just don't think that you know how to come forward to this feminine, purely because of the guilt. And like I said, it's very wounded feminine behavior. It really is. I'm going to be honest. Like I said, it's going to be a tough love reading here. You really need to heal this out. And it's all part of this avoidant tendencies, right? If you just avoid, that if you do remain in the background, if you still remain snooping and keeping tabs but not actually coming forward, then it means that you don't, I'm going to say this, right? It means that you can avoid having this conversation, but yet in some way you can still close that gap. You don't actually have to be in separation with her, really, if you're still keeping these tabs on her, which I'm telling you now, if you don't heal this out and if you don't clear this karmic jet, it's only going to backfire on you. It really is. Okay, what's happening with the cards here? Bear with me here. I'm just trying to get these cards. Some of these have flipped up. Not okay. Okay, last one under snooping. And I'm also hearing this too. If you're a divine feminine and you're watching this, I'm going to call a spade a spade. You deserve a lot better than this. I'm going to call a spade a spade. Okay. All right, snooping. One last one. No, then we've got egg on face. These cards, it's very weird, these cards today, but we've got egg on face. That flipped up straight away. So you're ashamed, backfired, got caught. I wonder if you did. I wonder if it has gotten back to this divine feminine that you have been stalking. Like I said, not a lot gets past the divine feminines. So if you have been stalking, if you have been on there, it'll come out. The divine feminine will be aware, I'm sure. And I have a funny feeling that either you did get caught stalking, or also too, I'm just seeing that word ashamed. I think that you know that this behavior is not great. You know that you need to come forward with an explanation, with an apology, with a revelation. There's something here that you really, there's a serious discussion here that you know you have to have with your divine feminine, and you're doing anything that you can do in your power at the moment to avoid it. I think you're very, very concerned about the reaction that you're going to have, which means once again that if that is the case, divine masculine, then you are still very much putting your needs and your I'm going to say desires, your needs, your protection ahead of anything else still. You know, which is, I know, something you're trying to heal out from. So I'm just trying to make you aware of your behavior, is that if this is what you're doing here, yeah, it's just, you know what I'm saying. I'm just going to keep repeating myself. You know that this is not great. You really do need to have that conversation. And I'm just hearing that you put yourself first, always put yourself first in this relationship. And it's something, it is that toxic trait of yours, about not being an equal give and take in a relationship, or not being able to understand how to be in a relationship with equal give and take. But it's something, it's something you're trying to heal out. I do understand. But you're doing the opposite by doing this. That's the words I'm trying to look for. You are doing the opposite to what you're trying to achieve by doing this. Okay. All right. So pretty heavy energy. I knew it was before I even sat down. I knew this was going to be pretty heavy energy. So let's, okay, what I want to do is I want to just get your energy at the moment with animal cards. I want to see just what's happening with you, what energy you're in at the moment with your animal cards. What's happening here? So what are you trying to work on? So straight away, I've already had those two, so I'm going to come out. So this is specifically what you are trying to work on. I'm going to get another card as well. Just one more, please. So what energy is this masculine trying to heal out, really? What are you trying to work on? Then we're going to get some really beautiful guiding messages as well. All right. Here we go. So this is your current energy that you're sitting in and that you're really trying to heal out from. Is these. So we've got the lion, we've got the owl, and we've also got the bear as well. So these numbers could be really relevant to you. So we've got 13, 14, and also the number 23 as well here. Yeah, so I'm just feeling as well. So we've got the lion here. So you could actually be a fire sign, or a Leo, or a fire sign. Straight away, I was getting that. I'm also feeling air sign as well, just with the owl there. So straight away, I was hearing Gemini as well, but I mean, it could be any of the air signs. Also, your feminine might also be an air sign as well, an air sign or Leo sign. You could actually be an air fire pairing is the words I'm trying to get out. All right, so let's just see the lion. What's happening with you at the moment with lion? Okay, so the lion represents the maturity and nobility to use strength in a measured and controlled way. It can also signify victory over adversity or the courage to make sacrifices for the benefit of others. Well, isn't that very fitting that I was just talking about putting the needs of others, especially in your relationships, not all the time, but at times ahead of your own, actually thinking of others before yourself. Yeah, very, very interesting. And so it's the courage to make sacrifices for the benefit of others. The lion uses his strength to provide leadership, protection, and championship. I think you're a pretty tough masculine as well, I will say. I do think that you do see yourself as a bit of a lion, which wouldn't surprise me. But I definitely think that this is what you were trying to step into. I think this is really what you're trying to work on, is you do understand that you can be really, I'm going to say this, I'm going to call it out, you can be really quite selfish in relationships, and not just in romantic relationships either. This would be in all relationships that you're in. So with family and friends, I think that you really do expect people to gosh, this is going to sound really tough, but I'm going to say it. You do expect people to put you on a bit of pedestal. That's also around, the lion as well, right? The lion is very prideful. as well. I also see the Lion as having a fair bit of ego as well, which I think that this is also something you're currently trying to work on. Everything I'm saying here as well, I do feel that this is your shadow work, right? That this is the stuff that has been highlighted to you, that you understand as a red flag, that you are trying to heal out. But also the fact that there was not equal give and take, especially with your feminine, there was not equal give and take here. And I think you very much know that. I think that that's been highlighted, and I think this is something that you were trying to step into. You were really trying to step into that Lion energy, but the positive aspects of that Lion. I'm hearing, that real leadership, that that the real leader in the community is what I'm hearing. Is you do want to be a leader of the community, but you've just got a few things that need to be worked through first. You really do. The other thing with leadership is that I will say is that leadership, and I think this might happen with people and masculines in particular, as they do get a little bit more mature, they do get a little bit older, is that they then start to understand that actually leadership and being, the head of the pack, as it were, is actually more about your ability to look after your flock, about being able to look after your family, about actually being the provider. It's actually not about the masculine being put on a pedestal and admired. It is actually the way the masculine can do that for others that actually makes the masculine this beautiful leader. And I think you're actually starting to understand that about true leadership. It's actually not about the adoration, and it's not about your ego. It's about your ability to provide and think of others. Which then, it's like that dichotomy, right? Which then, by you doing that, then automatically people then look up to you and respect you and admire you for your abilities to do that. Oh, heavy energy, masculine, heavy, heavy. All right, owl energy. Owl energy is actually a very psychic card to me, so it wouldn't surprise me if you are starting to step into your mission work. All right, so we've got, so in a spread, right, so the owl represents the death of the old order, all right, so you are also going through a death and rebirth. Its call warns that you must be prepared to adapt to a new way of thinking, to accept the loss of the old and familiar. It can also represent the ability to see clearly through the darkness of chaos, confusion, and deception, and the need for self-examination. The owl may have a tendency for over-analysis or criticism. All right, so this is once again part of your shadow that you're working through. So I do think that you have been very critical of others. Once again, this comes back down to, I'm hearing the words, a bit of an ego death is what you're going through at the moment, which wouldn't surprise me. But this is, I think you can be very critical of others. I'm also hearing very critical of yourself as well. So just as critical as you are of others, you also get very critical of yourself. But I think that you're starting to really step into self-acceptance, which also comes with self-esteem, which, if you go back again, all comes down with you dealing with your shadow. So I think that as you become less critical of yourself and more accepting of yourself, you are becoming less critical of those around you. I'm also hearing that you're going through a bit of a death and rebirth phase as well. So that would mean that you, I'm thinking, are probably having a bit of a stock take at the moment around the karmic toxic relationships around you, which wouldn't surprise me if you're going through a bit of a frequency upgrade, if you're starting to analyze and actually look at the relationships around you, then those people that are no longer aligning with you and are no longer aligning with your energy, you'll be really starting to feel that. I have a feeling that you are really putting things under review in your life at the moment. I definitely think that there are some seriously karmic relationships and also karmic situations as well, which I don't think you're particularly comfortable with. I think you have been comfortable with these relationships for a long time. But I think you're starting to, just really, just everything's starting to come under review for you at the moment. The other thing as well is with this owl energy, you, whether you know it or not, you are probably very psychic yourself. It's such for me, the owl. It's also one of my symbols as well. I've also got an owl feather here. Owls could really resonate with you. I've got an owl feather that was gifted to me from my beautiful spirit team, and then also, I've got these owls. So owls are very significant. It's a very, very intuitive, very spiritual card. I wouldn't be surprised if you're a healer yourself. You might even be a tarot reader as well. You might even, you get into the cards. I'm also seeing scrying of some sort as well. So I think you do divination of some sort, or you have a feeling that you should be doing divination, which is beautiful. It means that you're very much awakened to your shadow. You're facing into your shadow, and especially you might even be considering your mission work now, which is beautiful. All right, so the number 14, bear. All right, so the bear represents the emergence of abilities and potential, which have been laid dormant. Oh, well, there we go. We're talking about mission work. It can signify a down-to-earth approach to life, but an awareness of the inner world, or it may represent waiting for the right. Bear with me. Let me just turn the page. Right time for something to happen. The bear is slow to rouse, but can be extremely fierce when provoked. Okay, so a couple of things I'm getting for this. Firstly is as we were talking about your dormant gifts that have been lying under the surface, I think that you are finally starting to awaken to your gifts, to your mission work, to the reason why you were really put on this planet. Like, what is your true purpose in life? I think that these are some serious questions that you're asking yourself, which is good. It's all part of this journey. It's what we all have to go through. Right, is that question about what am I here to do? How am I going to leave my stamp on this world? How am I going to make this a better place? So I think that you've definitely got these dormant skills that you're starting to recognize. Like I said, I'm getting very much around divination. Could also be spiritual healing as well. But also probably in your pentacle path as well. I'm just hearing that maybe you've got, things to do with your pentacles, the way that you earn your income that has been dormant. Maybe it's something that you haven't thought about since you were a child. And through social conditioning, maybe you were told that it wasn't appropriate, that's not, what masculine should be doing. I don't know why that's coming to my mind, but I'll say it. And so I think that these gifts have been laying dormant with you for quite some time. And I think that it's just starting to awaken in you as you are going through this awakening. You are going through a spiritual awakening, also an awakening of your gifts, your pentacle path. Just a side note as well, the other thing that card brought up is the fact that you may actually have a bit of a temper, might actually be a bit of a bear temper. You also might identify as being a bit of a bear. Like, for those of you that are listening, that will know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. But that will actually resonate, like actually a bear. I'm also seeing here, I think this is supposed to be a moon, but I just was straight away just seeing disco balls. I'm saying bear as well. So that could really, really resonate. But also I'm just seeing as well, so the 1st of the 4th, so maybe April, or the 1st of 4th of the 1st, so maybe January as well might be a really important month here. All right, so this is currently what you feel that you need to be working on at the moment, and the energy that you're currently sitting in. So what I want to do now is I want to get the tarot deck. I want to see what your team wants you to know. And then I've got one final oracle deck that I want to get some really beautiful guiding messages for you with. But let's get the tarot. Let's get the tarot. So what does this beautiful masculine energy need to know? All right, so I'm going to split the deck as well, just trying to get the overall message that your spirit team wants you to know. All right, I won't take this, but straight away this fell out. And look, we've got the Lovers. That's actually the Lovers card, which means this is your divine feminine. This is your divine feminine. You just need to start treating the divine feminine a little bit better. Work through your avoidance is what I'm hearing. Work through your avoidance. But, okay, let's split these cards and let's just get this overall energy. Okay, so we've got Student of Air, doesn't surprise me, in the reverse. And then we've got the Four of Swords, but in the upright. Okay. Oh, sorry, that's Student of Fire. Sorry, not Student of Air. That's Student of Fire. So that is Page of Wands in the reverse is what we've got, which means that there's just been a lot of a real lack of action here with you in this connection. A real lack of action. I think you really want to come through with this action, but it's just been completely stopped here, which is exactly what this Four of Swords is talking about. Is that it's complete stuck, complete overwhelm when you think about this connection, when it comes to you in this connection. Like, it's just a complete overwhelm here. You are really sitting here, really in sorrow, stuck, which is exactly what I was picking up when I first sat down here. And so really hoping some really guiding messages come through to really just pull you out of this. I feel like you want to be pulled out of this, but it's just that guilt that you're going to have to work through. And I have to say this: the longer you put it off, and I'm going to repeat myself, the longer you put it off of actually stepping into your divine masculine, having the courage and stepping forward, the longer you put it off, the karmic debt just grows and grows and grows. It will just get worse for you. I'm telling you. It's your divine feminine that you're dealing with here. You're not dealing with a karmic, right? You're not dealing with a karmic that you can just brush aside. Like, this is your divine feminine, and the longer you put it off with this feminine, the longer you put it off, the worse your karma gets. Okay. And also too, I'm just being told as well that this shouldn't all just be about you and the impact that will have on you, right? Because that's also something you're trying to heal out of. Is it you should be having compassion for this feminine. You know, if you are refusing to clear this karmic debt with her, if you're refusing to come forward and to have this conversation to actually provide relief to this feminine, then really, you know, it's a little bit of shame on you, truly. Oh my God, that's not healthy behavior. Okay. Which card first? This card first. So that is, as we were saying it, that is actually the world. Oh, sorry, the world. That's the wheel. That is the karmic wheel right there, as I was talking about it, right? In the upright, it's going in your favor. In the reverse, it's not. It's the Wheel of Fortune, right? Current energy. Karmic energy turning in the opposite direction from you. All right. Seven of Swords. Gosh, I don't know. Actually, it says all of these are all the same messages. Seven of Swords, and we've got the Seer of Air. So that is the King of Swords. Oh, that's the Justice card. And we've got source of fire. So that is the queen. The source is the queen, so the Queen of Wands. Okay. All right. Oh, and then right on the bottom, Tower. This is a Tower moment for you. This is a reckoning for you that you're going through. So I was wondering if that Tower card was going to come up, given everything we're talking about. But it is. This is a Tower moment for you. This is a time for you to reflect on your behavior, on what's going on, and also to understand that everything is in your control. Everything. Like, you are very much in the Eight of Wands, potentially Eight of Wands, but Eight of Swords energy. You have the ability to take off your own blindfold and to step out of the swords. Like, you're not being trapped at all. It is completely within your power to put an end to this. You just have to have the courage to do it. All right. So as we were talking about, so this is your current situation. This is coming through from your team, right? So this is karmic debt. This is the wheel. This is not turning in your favor at the moment, right? And as I keep saying, I don't want to keep harping on to myself, but the longer you avoid this, this will just keep remaining in the reverse, right? Your karmic wheel will not turn upright until you do something here. Which then brings us to the blocking row, and funnily enough, it's Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is that thief in the night. He's the avoidant. That Seven of Swords is true runner energy, and this has been your block. This is specifically your team saying this is your block. This is your runner energy. This is actually what is stopping you from achieving everything that you want to in life. And I'm just hearing as well, it's not just to do with this feminine connection. It's just that this feminine connection is what has highlighted everything to you. It's not just with your feminine, it is with everything in your life you avoid. And I do want to say as well that I am being particularly hard on you, I know. But when it comes to avoidant tendencies, believe me, I even myself understand about avoidance. It happens from a very young age. You are taught that the only way that you can get through in life is if you just squash everything, right? Squash yourself, squash your emotions, your feelings, your desires, everything. Everything has to be suppressed. And that it's not a safe space to actually, or life is not a safe space to actually express how you feel, what you want. And so then, and from a very young age, you're pretty much told that you should be seen, pretty much, and not heard, which is what happens with avoidance. In one way or another, that's the message that you receive, that whatever you're feeling and thinking is really not valid. And so then you just avoid. So then you learn to squash, you learn to suppress, you learn to avoid, and then you carry that through then into your adult years. And then you just then become the avoidant in all relationships and all situations in life. And this has been truly, this is your blocker. This is your shadow that you have to work through. But now is the time, I'm hearing, now is the time. All right, so Seer of Air. All right, so that is that's the King of Swords, and this is the energy that you're in at the moment as well, I have to say. Once again, it's a very, very logical king. I think that this is the energy that you're trying to use here, is to very, very much think with logic, very much in the mind. You're trying to think your way out of this, which is true in some regard, but as an avoidant, you will truly avoid trying to feel your emotion. And I'm just being told that you can't sit in this energy anymore. And especially when it comes to love and relationships, is that you can't use logic. You have to be able to step into your feminine energy. You have to be able to use compassion and feminine. Everybody has two sides. It doesn't matter if you're in a masculine or a feminine vessel. And it doesn't matter what society's told you, when your family's told you since you were a toddler. It doesn't matter. Everybody has two sides. Everybody has to learn how to balance they're masculine and feminine. Everybody needs to be strong, but they also need to learn how to balance that with compassion. And you can't step into your lion energy, true lion energy, and be that true leader until you've got balance of both. If you can do this, then there will be justice. There will be justice in this connection and also in your life as well. Right, there truly will be justice, the balance. And just as I was talking about balance as well, you need to learn how to balance your yin and your yang, your emotion as well as your logic. You have to learn how to balance, that those scales, the justice scales, to bring justice in. Right, you have to learn how to do this. And if you can do this, then the outcome will be that you have your beautiful source of fire, or your Queen of Wands. Right, and that's how you see your feminine, is the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is beautiful. She is truly, truly beautiful, the Queen of Wands. She's really saucy. She's confident. She looks beautiful. I've just heard that you've actually never found anyone, Divine Masculine. You've actually never found anyone that compares to your Divine Feminine. Anyone. You truly do see her as your Empress as well. Very high value. I'm hearing the words very high value. All right, so let's just confirm these cards. All right, I've got this card that's trying to flip up here. I'm not going to take this. This is the Ten of Pentacles. This is truly what you're trying to step into, is your Ten of Pentacles. All right, we'll just hear that. I'm hearing that that's not only with this connection, but also just with your Pentacle path as well. But you've got some blocks here. You've got some blocks that have to be cleared first. Gosh, what's that card that's just trying to come over? I'm being told I need to take this card. So this is the Six of Cups, but it's in the reverse. So the Six of Cups is very much, gosh, I'm making dizzy there. The Six of Cups is very much around nostalgia, looking back, reminiscing, looking back at the past is what the Six of Cups is about. However, this did come, so very much thinking about your Divine Feminine, which we know, like you're stalking her pages, so we know that. But this is in the reverse. And so this is very much around childhood trauma and examining childhood trauma, or that's how I take it in this, which means that this is really just confirming what we've been talking about, is you do have blocks here with your karmic wheel, and being able to put that card into the upright. You do have blocks here, and that is to do with what you've been examining here around your shadow, around your inner child healing that you've got to do. But you're going to have to really be facing into your shadow here. All right, so Seven of Swords in the upright. But then we have the Nine of Pentacles. Now, this is all about wishes coming true. Right, so given that this has become a blocker, I think it's just your team is just confirming for you is that they really want to grant you this Nine of Pentacles. They really do want you to step into your divine path. They truly do. They want to grant you everything you've wanted, that you wish for and you pray for. But you have to get over this avoidant tendency. They cannot grant you this while you're still in these avoidance, while you still have your avoidant veil on. Just I've been told as well, just look at the bottom of the deck here, and we've got the Hierophant card. So the Hierophant card is all around marriage. It's actually it's my oracle card as well, but it's very much a marriage card. And I think that ultimately this is truly what you want. You want a deep connection with this feminine. So, I mean, gosh, like, you know what I'm going to say? If this is truly what you want, that's truly what you want with your feminine, you know what has to happen. All right, Seer of Air. And on that, we've got this is the boundaries card. So this is the Seven of Wands, which is all about boundaries, right? And so you're trying to look very logically at this connection. Unfortunately, that has really put some huge boundaries around you. These are the boundaries that you have put up. Almost I'm hearing the words cage around your heart, with how logical you think of at situations. You really put up some very, very strong boundaries with people. You really keep people out, is what I'm hearing. With just this very, very logical nature that you have. Like I said, part of this journey is learning how to balance both. Though you have to balance both your masculine and your feminine energies. Not every single situation can be looked at with logic, and definitely not with love. All right. That was the Ten of Wands that was trying to come out there, but let's see. So under justice. So in the reverse, so we've got the Nine of Cups, but in the reverse. So this is another one all around really your emotional maturity, and really, once again, your wishes, your the things that you want in life, right? But very much around, I'm getting very much around emotional maturity. And the fact that that is in the reverse, so means that there's a real block here, and the justice, and this is just confirming exactly what we were saying here, is that you really can't have this justice that you're after, either in this connection or in life, until you learn how to balance this, until you learn how to balance your emotion. All right. We've got Source of Fire. This actually came through on the side. This is the Fool. This is the Courage card. Stepping forward, stepping into the unknown. This came through on the side, which means this is 50-50. Right? And this is coming up under your beautiful divine feminine. Are you going to have the courage to step forward? That's a question only you can answer. But are you going to have the courage? It's a 50-50. Will you have the courage? Will you not? Will you not? This is what goes through in your mind constantly. If you have the courage to step forward, though, you will get your beautiful Queen of Wands. You'll get her. It might not be easy. In fact, it probably won't be easy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It probably won't be easy. But you have the ability to step out. You can step out of your swords. You don't have to be in your swords. Okay. All right. And lastly, I am going to get just a couple of those beautiful divine oracle cards specifically for masculine. I just want to see what I think it's a lot of guiding messages been given, but I just want to get a couple of these cards. Here, I will be referring again back to the oracle deck as well. These are this beautiful divine masculine healing oracle that I've recently gotten. Just a couple here. I just feel like there's just maybe two. Let's see what comes out here. But what does your team want you to work on? Okay, so what have we got? So we've got Eurillo. Straight away, I can see this white horse. So that straight away reminds me of the oh my gosh, what am I trying to, completely drawn a blank. The one where he's riding there on his white horse. Anyway, persistence. Persistence is what I'm seeing very much. Yes, okay, let's see what the book says. Also rainbows, I'm seeing straight away rainbows. So rainbows could be really relevant to you as well. They could actually be one of your signs. Oh, look, here we go. In matters of the heart, it is easy to become swept away towards one extreme or the other. One severity is walking around with rose-tinted glasses, your heart on your sleeve. The other is closing the heart down in complete mistrust. That's exactly what we were talking about. The sweet spot, the sweet spot bang in the middle, where you can be open and perceptive simultaneously, balancing your yin and your yang. Just as spring breaks up summer and winter, nuance is needed when falling in love to prevent the extremes from taking over. So not always looking so logically at your situations, but learning how to balance your compassion, your feminine and your masculine. With only openness, issues arise where love can be blind, leading to obvious breaches of trust that get ignored. Being in love with love is wonderful. However, don't let it blind you in reality. Red flags are not so visible through rose-tinted glasses. The hormones that love brings, oxytocin and nephrephrine, gosh, I totally got that wrong, I'm sure, can lead to ignoring clear signs that someone is incompatible with you. The highs and lows of a toxic relationship can be addictive with the hints of dopamine it provides. So, very much so, the soul remembrance and desire at first sight are real, yet it takes time to get to know the complexity of a person and learn if you were genuinely well matched. So I think I'm getting a few things with this. I think that as you step into what we've been talking about, so as you step into your maturity, as you step into understanding your red flags within love, I think that you are really starting to understand really what makes a good relationship, and to not be blinded. I'm just hearing that sometimes you can be really blinded by the external beauty of things, and actually not truly what's underneath, which I think is something. It also comes down to maturity as well. I have to say, but I think this is something you're also working through, and you're being urged to work through as well. To not think so logically, to think more with a balanced mind, and just really look beneath the surface. I'm just hearing that, looking beneath the surface. All right. One more card here. Buddha. Well, that's beautiful. That's very much around divine connection, like as in you with your divine God, whoever you pray to, is very much about that. We did speak about you stepping into your mission work and understanding those dormant gifts, so that wouldn't surprise me. You might have also just very recently taken up meditation as well. All right, so if a friend experienced a heart-wrenched tragedy, you probably wouldn't tell them, it is what it is, accept it and let it go. That would pile on invalidation atop of the agony and suffering, consuming them. Offer yourself the same direction. That's exactly what I was saying. Acceptance occurs several steps into a healing voyage. It comes at the hand of processing. Premature acceptance can hinder vital processes that need to happen before reaching this stage. Toxic positivity and spiritual bypassing are both displays of premature acceptance. This keeps you disillusioned, opting for denial and repression of emotion rather than truly through hardship. You don't have to get over it to find acceptance. So this is with you dealing with your shadow and your avoidance, right? And the fact that when I regressed before, or digressed before, talking about the messages that you would have received as a child, that as in you just need to get over things, that to not feel things, to really repress your emotion. This is what the Buddha is calling you to examine. Is that childhood belief, that programming that you've been given, that your feelings aren't valid? But that's also too what has led to your avoidant behavior. So all part of the shadow you have to be dealing with. You don't have to get over it to find acceptance. Validation of your experiences, emotions works wonders compared to just simply trying to let them go. Statements such as "it is what it is" or "XYZ happened, but it's okay" do not move you towards acceptance. They keep you far from it. As in, if you keep avoiding, you'll never heal. Do not move towards acceptance. They keep it far from you. This mentality skirts around the issue, overlooking it, under it, or sideways. The admission of pain is what elevates you out of this mentality. It happened, it sucked, it was painful. Now what? Accept that it occurred and allow for genuine moving on. So it's getting in touch with your feelings. Divine masculine, for the first time, actually understanding the emotion, which is something that we are all called to do, which is some of Buddha's very divine teachings was around, specifically around balance and balancing yin and yang. Very, very beautiful. I have a feeling you might also really resonate specifically with Buddha. You might be really, really tapping into his teachings, into Buddha's teachings as well, which is beautiful. All right, and then one last card for the reading today. Midas. Ooh, okay. Midas is he's very much my Knight of Wands card. This is what, and when I was talking to about being looking very superficial, quite player energy, I have to say Midas energy. But let's go through it. The Midas touch, as they say. Okay, so sometimes the only worse thing, I'll say that again. Sometimes the only thing worse than your dreams not coming true is for them to continue. It's for them to come true with unexpected or undesirable consequences. When based on distorted desire, the pursuit of happiness can be ineffective. Attainment without self-actualization can leave you feeling trapped in a gilded cage of your own making. Specifically what I was saying, a gilded cage of your own making. It's the Eight of Swords energy. It's sorrow and it's swords you're in, which you have complete control over. Strive to build a life you are connected with based on the daily functioning of your reality. Then when the big things happen and they don't fix all of your problems, it won't be a massive letdown. What is often conceptualized as happiness can be described as joy. Joy is a temporary peaking of elation, which can feel even more noticeable when shared with contrasting emotions. If you were in constant joy, elation would no longer be a peak. It would no longer feel as good. Good blessings fluctuate, and that's okay. Pursue happiness while also considering if you were trying to bypass other emotions. So pursuing happiness, I think it all comes down to your avoidancy, right? Bypassing other emotions, trying to attain happiness, attain fulfillment through areas that were never going to give you that. So addictions is a big one for this as well. Ironically, the act of pursuing happiness can be a negative experience. Fearing the negative is limiting, trying to escape and run toward the positive is a form of resistance. So it is. It's very much speaking to your to addictions. Not being afraid when the negative arises is a generative experience. When you find satisfaction and in yourself in the mundane, you can chase the marvelous. All right, so this is very much around you facing into your shadow still. Like I said, the Midas touch is also very much my Knight of Wands energy as well, which is really quite play energy, the pursuit of happiness, quite superficial. And I just think that you were trying to move past this. I think you were really wanting a connection here of meaning. You know, I really do. I think that you are very much over connections that are superficial connections. I'll say it. I think you are very much over superficial connections, especially with Urillo, who's here as well. And I think that you are trying to very much step into romantic, but also, you know, the other relationships that around you that are not necessarily romantic, friends, family, really trying to step into something that's got far more meaning. And it's more closely aligned with where you are now, that you are truly now seeking this enlightenment. Oh, okay. Very good. That is it for today. Beautiful reading. I was very, very tough in the beginning there, but for the right collective, if you've made it all the way through to this end, then you needed to hear it. So very good. I do wish you well in facing into that shadow, having the courage, step up. That's all I'm going to say. Have courage and step up. Okay, if you have made it all the way through to the end here, I would ask that you like and subscribe to this channel. Of course, it does help me, but more importantly, it helps these messages get out to those that actually do need to hear them. It helps those algorithms push it out. So please, I would ask that you assist and you help in that way. But that's it for today. So I will see you in the next reading.